Mom, Dad, I humbly suggest you save some money and shop Amazon for back to school. It's for my growth, meaning my body's growing at an alarming rate. And clothes you buy me this year will be very small very soon. Plus, the clothes I love today will be out of style tomorrow. But at least your wallet doesn't have to be my fashion victim if you shop low prices for school at Amazon. Hopefully this is helpful. Amazon. Spend less, smile more.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to this episode of Sports Legends of the Carolinas. I'm your host, Scott Fowler, sports columnist for the Charlotte Observer, where I've worked since 1994. And as always in this podcast, I'm going on the road to seek out some of my very favorite sports legends. For this episode, we traveled all the way to Coral Gables, Florida, and caught up with Julius Peppers, one of the greatest Carolina Panthers ever. Peppers is about as North Carolina as you can get. He grew up in the state, starred in both football and basketball at UNC Chapel Hill, and then was drafted number 2 overall by his home state team, the Carolina Panthers, in 2002. A fearsomely athletic defensive end, Peppers played 17 seasons in the NFL, 10 of them in Carolina. He's 4th all-time on the NFL list in quarterback sacks with 159.5. One example of his longevity, Peppers was a member of the NFL's All-Decade teams in both the 2000s and the 2010s. In February, Peppers earned entry into the Pro Football Hall of Fame, making it on his very first ballot. His official induction will come on August 3rd in Canton, Ohio. Famously media shy, Peppers decided to grant the Sports Legends of the Carolinas podcast one of the very few one-on-one, in-depth interviews he's given over the past 20 years. He invited us to his home in Florida and did this interview even though he was sick on the scheduled day. But Peppers, as he did throughout his career, still came through. Next, it's Julius Peppers on Sports Legends of the Carolinas. Pat, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
You're very kind to do this and to welcome us here. I want to start, although we're in Florida now, I want to start at the beginning in North Carolina. Tell me about how you grew up and where you grew up.
So I grew up in a small town, Bailey, North Carolina. It's about 30 miles east of Raleigh, rural area. Not too much going on out there. A lot of tobacco fields and agricultural. That's what I spent my summers doing, actually. Tobacco fields, cucumbers, stuff like that. So I was happy to get away from that and go to practice sometimes. So, so that's where I grew up at. Small town, it's like everybody knows each other. Not a lot of people. I think the population was a few hundred. So it was a close-knit community and stuff like that. So
who were the primary influences in your life growing up?
My family, my mother, definitely my mother was the main one. My siblings, Stefan and Yolanda. I have two older siblings. Coach Brian Foster, who's been a lifelong friend of mine, who became a mentor during those early days as far as sports and stuff. He would pick me up and take me to different track meets and sporting events just to show me things outside of Bailey. So he was one of the ones that influenced me in the sports world.
Your full name is Julius Frazier Peppers.
Yeah.
And so who are you named for?
So I'm named after Dr. J, Julius Erving.
McGinnis muscling his way for that rebound. Erving on a move. And over Collins. Oh.
And my middle name, I'm actually named after 2 sports legends, my middle name, Walt Frazier and Joe Frazier.
A crushing left by Joe Frazier. And down goes Eddie Machin at the end of round 1.
Okay. I never knew which one it was.
Yeah.
Okay.
So they gave me, they gave me both of them. I guess it's in the name. It's in the name.
It's been well documented that basketball was your first love, but so tell me how you got started in sports in general and grew to love basketball first.
So we didn't have a lot of organized recreational leagues and stuff like that. So my sports career actually just started outside in the backyard, either at my house or at a friend's house. You know, back then we would just call each other up, or at school we would say, look, we're going to play at such and such house this weekend. So meet us over there at 12 o'clock. So,
yeah. It's probably better that way when you set it up like that.
Yeah. So
kids first.
You know, we just meet in the neighborhood or down the street at somebody's house, and we just play all day. So that's how it started. And when we got to middle school, that was our first time actually being on organized teams.
Middle school.
I had never been on a basketball team before until I got to middle school. And I was nervous. I was nervous that I was going to get cut.
Like Michael Jordan?
Yeah. So yeah, that's where it started. The football, you know, the story about Coach Davis, my coach, Ray Davis, he kind of convinced me to come out to play football my sophomore year because he thought I would be good at it. He saw that I had the size. So he convinced me to come out my 10th grade year. And, you know, I've been playing sports ever since.
But originally, the dream really was to be an NBA player, right? Yeah. Who did you really look up to?
So, you know, being from North Carolina, you know, everything is MJ, right?
Michael, get it pulled for the fresh shot clock. MJ. Oh, he did it! And Michael shakes the finger. Jordan. Oh, a spectacular move by Michael Jordan.
So we actually had a satellite at my home back in the day when you had the big ones outside.
Yeah. Right.
So we could actually get WGN, or the local Chicago station.
Yeah.
So I used to watch all of their games. I could catch all of their regular season games. So that's how like I knew so much about the Bulls and about MJ, because I was watching their local station on the satellites. So yeah, you know, I had a heavy love for college basketball, not just the Tar Heels, all of them. That was back when we used to pause school class to watch the ACC tournament, roll in the TVs, and put the ACC tournament on all day. Tim Duncan, Randolph Childress, you know, even before them, Fire and Ice, Chris Corciani and them at NC State.
Yeah, Rodney Monroe.
Yeah. So, you know, my love for the game goes way back. And a story about Jerry Stackhouse that I saw when I was in high school. I didn't know who he was. My aunts and uncles was going to the game at Wilson Fike. They was getting ready to play a team in the area, a local team. And everybody was talking about, yeah, we're going to see Stackhouse. I was like, what's his real name?
It does sound made up when you put it that way, yeah.
They were like, that's his name, Stackhouse. So, you know, we went to the game. I saw him, you know, he was sitting in the stands with his, you know, teammates and stuff, just chilling, you know, and came out. I watched him do like a 360 dunk and stuff like that. So it was just a great time, man. It was, you know, and I've been in love with the game forever.
And so in high school, you were a dual sport athlete. And in football, were you a running back sometimes too? Or did you... I feel like you played both ways.
Yeah, that was my... I didn't really play defense. I did sometimes, but my main position was running back. Okay. Yeah, I was a running back.
Recruited to be an athlete, or what did they tell you when you... Weren't you a tight end in there at some point? Or
They just wanted me to come to Carolina. They recruited me as an athlete. It was I didn't have a position. When I got to Carolina, I was a tight end. I was like 4th string tight end, actually. It was Algie Crumpler was the starter, him and Alan Mogridge and Dante Finger, and then I was like the 4th string. And I wasn't getting any reps. And when I did get in to get reps, it was just mainly blocking, and wasn't going out to catch no passes or nothing. So that really wasn't what I envisioned myself doing. So I wanted to try my hand at defense because they had a lot of success with defensive players at the time, with defensive linemen. I tried that and it worked out.
You played basketball from the beginning too? Were you playing both sports right away? I can't remember.
I wasn't. My freshman year, I redshirted. I took the whole year off. I wasn't playing basketball at all.
Okay.
The next year, I had to come back and try out for the team. So Coach Ford, it's a long story. I'll shorten it up. Coach Ford was the JV coach. He wanted me to come try out for the JV. So I did. I came out for one practice. I had a good practice, but then I didn't come back anymore just because I was like, nah, this ain't what this is not what I want to do. So I didn't come back. So I started going up on campus to play at Woolen.
Yeah, I used to play at Woolen on a court way away from the one you played on. But yeah.
So we used to play at Woolen, and all the guys would come up there. All the players would come up there.
Oh, it's great.
So I started playing with Ed Coder, and I knew all of these guys from around campus. So we just started playing every day. Ed went back to Coach Gutt and was telling them about me, and they knew about me because they recruited me in high school. So finally, he kept telling them. So they said, bring him down. So I went down to the Smith Center one day for another tryout and had a good tryout. So eventually, they called me the next day and was just like, you're on the team.
Terry for Peppers. Maybe ought to make Peppers a tight end. There goes Terry. He says, I'm going to my football buddy. I'm going to my football buddy, Jam City. And the roof rocks.
Curry and Peppers turning out to be quite a spicy dish, huh?
Oh, I like that, Mike.
So the JV thing, you just didn't like the idea of JV, right?
Not really. Nah,
yeah.
I didn't.
Yeah.
I didn't. I felt like,
You were good enough.
I felt like, yeah.
So you played 1 year for Gutt, 1 year for Matt Doherty,
Yep.
right? And then didn't play the last year.
Last year I left and went to Central.
And just played fully on football. You said in a call you were on just a little while ago that you thought you would have probably been a pretty solid NBA player, right? And where do you think you would have topped out if you had pursued that?
I think I could have been a solid player, had a long career and been a solid player. There's been players that I played against, that I know of, that I watched play, that I felt like, I had comps that were in the NBA. Yeah. I was just talking to Draymond Green about that the other day at the Super
Really?
Bowl. I saw him, yeah.
Where did you see him?
I saw him at the Super Bowl.
Oh, okay.
He was at the, he was in the suite next to us. So I stopped by and, was talking to him for a little bit about it. And we actually got on the topic of, this is off topic, but we got on the topic of Steph Curry and him being a diehard Panthers fan and all of that stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, the NBA, I think I could have did a good job out there.
Would you have been a player sort of like Draymond, do you think?
I think so. He's a good screener, good passer. Somebody who, because he used to score the basketball in college, but he sacrificed that part of his game in the NBA to fit into the team.
Yeah, that's true.
So I felt like a similar player, kind of in that similar role.
Maybe not as many technicals.
Nah.
Did you ever get a technical in basketball?
I maybe got one or two here,
I
but
don't remember
you
that.
couldn't.
Yeah.
You'll find yourself way at the end of the bench doing that stuff.
Yeah. Did you ever draw like unsportsmanlike? I feel like you did one time against the Panthers, right? Didn't you? Or remember that one time with Cam? Didn't you have some little thing?
So when Cam used to score, he used to get the football and give it to somebody.
Right.
So they scored the touchdown, and I took the football. And when he was trying to come get it from me, I just held it away from him, and then I just threw it off to the side, to the sideline. It was like an intimidation kind of tactic because, I think that was the Super Bowl year.
It was.
I think that was the year. So I felt like, when you playing a team was as dominant as they were, you had to try to chop the head off the snake. You had to go for the leader. And if you could try to take him down, then, you could kill the body. But it didn't work. They had
They were good that one year. That's for sure. Other than that one year, you played on almost every Panthers playoff team that there's been. Your career, amazing how long it spanned. Maybe your favorite year was your second year when y'all made the Super Bowl. Talk a little bit about that run and how fun that was.
We was just playing football. We didn't understand the politics of the game, the business of the game, any of that stuff. It was just young guys just out there just playing. We was just going for it. New head coach, a lot of new pieces. And that season was kind of up and down if I remember correctly. I think Rodney Peete was our quarterback. He got injured, and then Jake.
Yeah, he got pulled in the first half of the first game. Rodney did, I think. And then Jake came in and did.
Thought he got hurt. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, well, maybe both.
I don't know.
But and y'all won the first game against Jacksonville. If you like in a crazy last minute thing, and then. But you're right, it was up and down. You had some losses.
Yeah. It was up and down, but my memory from I played so many games and so many seasons it starts running together and stuff. But I think we started off that season pretty hot.
Yeah, that's right.
We started off because we may have been like 6-1 or something like that. I remember going up to Indy and beating Peyton Manning and them at home, and the defense was really good. We were really good. The offense was too, but the defense was like top tier that year. And we just had a lot of fun, man. And then when we got into the playoffs, we were out to prove ourselves. It was kind of that mentality that I was talking about that I had, but it was like the whole team. Nobody was respecting us. Nobody really knew who we were, as far as like the national media and stuff like that. And so I think the first game we beat the Cowboys at home.
Moments away from the kickoff of tonight's game between the Cowboys and the Panthers. Let's go down.
That was after the Sam Mills speech. We went to St. Louis. The greatest show on turf. That was a highlight for us because, we, for me, we used to watch them on TV. I did. I knew Torrey, but, Marshall Faulk, Kurt Warner. That was like exciting for us. We getting ready to play the greatest show on turf. We used to play with them on Madden. So it was this thing to like go out and prove that we belonged out there with these guys. So, and the iconic play from Steve in overtime to win it.
From the 31 of Carolina. Delhomme fires to an open Smith. Steve Smith is going to go all the way. No flags down. Smith scores, and the Carolina Panthers win in overtime.
Then we go up to Philly, NFC Championship. Nobody was really giving us a chance to win any of these games, really, besides maybe the Dallas game. That was at home. But to go to St. Louis, nobody expected that. And then to go to Philly, nobody was expecting that. They was already putting Philly in the Super Bowl. So, it was a thing where we just went out and it was no pressure because nobody expected us to be there. Yeah. So it was a great run. We got to the Super Bowl. That game was up and down. Some unfortunate things happened in that game. No one was to blame. I thought everybody, we gave what we had. We gave what we had. We just came up a little bit short. So it was a great season. And in my book, all of those guys and the whole team, we were all champions that year. We weren't Super Bowl champions, but I still to this day think that we all still are champions.
Yeah, well, you won the NFC.
Right.
Technically, you were champions. You mentioned the Sam Mills speech. Where was that in your memory? Because I've heard a couple of different accounts. And what do you remember of that night or day?
If I'm not mistaken, it was on the practice field.
Okay, yeah.
It definitely was on the practice field, right outside of the stadium.
Like
it was
the
on
day
the
before the game? Yeah.
It was the day before the game. Coach would always call somebody up to give a speech after we did like the final walkthrough, either a player, coach, or somebody. And so this particular time, it was Sam. And man, I think it was raining a little bit that day. And he went through it all, telling us a story about everything that he was going through and how the main message, keep pounding. Like, no matter what, just keep going. And, it stuck with us. It became the team mantra, and I'm honored to have been there to witness that.
We'll be back right after this.
This episode is brought to you by our good friends at NFL Sunday Ticket on YouTube TV. I'm sure by now you've all gotten back into your Sunday routines, but they could be even better. With NFL Sunday Ticket and YouTube TV, you get the most live NFL games all in one place, every game, every Sunday. And you can even watch up to 4 different games at once with Multiview, one of my favorite inventions of this decade. It's exactly what you need to catch all the action. Make your Sundays more magical. And also, YouTube TV is great. I got it this year. It's awesome. Sign up now at youtube.com/BS. Device and content restrictions apply. Local and national games on YouTube TV. NFL Sunday Ticket for out-of-market games excludes digital-only games.
Welcome back. We did an interview. I've, of course, covered your whole career while you were with the Panthers, and early in your career, maybe 2005 or 6, I did an interview with you, and at one point asked you, what was the bigger deal for you to play in, the Final Four or the Super Bowl? So I remember the answer you gave then, but I wonder if it's still the same answer today.
Both of them are big deals. It's all, it's like a matter of what do you like, right? What do you like? Are you a basketball fan or are you a football fan? If you're a basketball fan, it's going to be the Final Four. If you love football, it's going to be the Super Bowl. I think on a national scale now, I think I said at the time it was the Final Four.
You did, yes. Yeah, you did.
But now with all the viewership and stuff like that, the Super Bowl is it was a big deal then, but I think it's even a bigger deal now than it was just because of everything that goes into it with, TV and it being worldwide. But both of them were big deals. I enjoyed both of them. Didn't win none of them, but I enjoyed the experience. The experience is like nothing else.
Well, to play in both of them is remarkable. Speaking of difficult opponents, one reason I think the Panthers drafted you was you were one of the only people that could keep up with Michael Vick. I remember some incredible duels watching you and he go back and forth at it. Opposing quarterbacks or offensive tackles or whomever, running backs, whatever. Who would you put on a list of some of the toughest opponents you ever faced?
Toughest opponents, Mike is definitely at the top. Outside of him, it's been so many. Aaron Rodgers was difficult in a different kind of way. Michael Vick.
What made him so special, Vick? Like, if you had to describe it.
Mike was something that we had never really seen before.
Going by here in the third quarter, and Mike Vick trying to get away from some defenders, and he can do it. And he flicks it downfield, wide open, and he's got it again. Quentin McCord, and McCord dragged out of bounds.
I don't know if it was that many other running quarterbacks. Dante Culpepper ran a little bit, but not really. Steve McNair's kind of running, but nobody was like Mike. Nobody was running like him. It was a new type of challenge where you had to defend against somebody who could throw and somebody that once you defend the pass, you got to defend a quarterback who's can run faster than your whole defense. So it was a unique challenge. The person that's close to him today is Lamar Jackson, but Mike was the first to do it. So to try to bottle him up for a whole game was difficult because, it was a dual threat before dual threats really existed.
Tell me a little bit about your life today. You obviously got a beautiful family here in Miami, but what keeps you busy now, Pep?
So right now it's mainly day to day with the kids and stuff. I'm really like a glorified taxi driver or Uber driver these days. From school to, coming home, I come home, I watch TV for a little bit or run my errands or do whatever I need to do personally. But then, that's only for a couple hours. I got to go back and pick them up, come home, go to soccer practice, go to track practice, go to football practice. That's every day. And then on the weekends, it's going to the games, back and forth to the games or traveling somewhere. So, and we travel during the holidays and stuff like that. So it's a lot of family stuff.
How old are your children?
15, about to be 16, 9 and 8.
Okay. And you mentioned football. So are you okay? I know some former NFL players have different opinions on this. Are you okay with your own children playing tackle football?
If they want to play, it's a little bit of concern there as far as, head injury and stuff like that. But I think it's all about teaching them the right way to play and protecting themselves on the field. Mm-hmm. I think there's a right time to do it. I don't think I want them to start too young. They always ask me, can we play tackle football this year? Can we play? And I haven't let them play yet. Maybe in a year or two, or in a couple of years, we'll get to a point where we feel comfortable letting them play. But I don't have a problem with them playing. As long as they play the game the right way and protect themselves, I think they'll be fine out there.
Because your daughter's the oldest?
Yeah, she's the oldest.
That right?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. We didn't talk much about UNC in football, but what are either memories of great games or players or coaches? What sticks out to you most when I say, what was great about your UNC football experience?
My last year there, the record might not say it, but we were really good, especially on defense. Ronald, and it's funny because we talked about Mike Vick, but Ronald Curry was similar. Mm-hmm. They were kind of like the same guy, really. Mm-hmm. I don't think Ron was as fast as Mike, but his elusiveness and his ability to make you miss, I think were on par, maybe even a little better. But on defense, we had, out of the 11 starters on defense, I think at least half of them played in the league. Wow. We were really good. So we started the season, we went on the road, we played against Oklahoma, at Oklahoma, we went to Texas, we played at Texas. So we played some really tough games early in that season that I think toughened us up, it hardened us up for the ACC.
Swing pass and a dangerous pass. It's picked off by Peppers. Julius Peppers in the end zone.
And we ended up finishing that season up good. We played Auburn in the Peach Bowl. We ended up beating them. That was a fun season for us. We had a lot of good games, a lot of great games on defense that year, actually. So we went down to Clemson, Death Valley, Woodrow Dantzler was a Heisman. Was a Heisman candidate, right? Yeah. So shut him down. It's like a brotherhood for us at Carolina football. We are, I always see Dre Bly, and it's a thing where we keep up. We talk, not all the time, but as much as possible, we try to keep up with one another. So, that was a great time. That was a great time in life.
Speaking of Carolina players, what sort of quarterback do you think Drake May will be in the NFL?
I think he's going to do well. He's great in the pocket. He can run a little bit. He reminds me a little bit of nobody reminds me of Patrick Mahomes, but he's kind of that skill set that he's a great passer, great pocket presence, right? But also can run and beat you with his legs when he absolutely needs to. He's not going to rely on that, but if it comes down to that, he has it there to use at his disposal.
He will, yeah. He's surprisingly elusive.
Yeah.
Congratulations on the Pro Football Hall of Fame.
Thank you.
You're having quite an amazing 12 months here. College Football Hall of Fame, Panthers Hall of Honor, Pro Football Hall of Fame. Unbelievable. I don't know what's left, an Emmy or an Oscar maybe. I don't know what you got. But with the Pro Football Hall of Fame, what meant the most to you about that?
The thing is, what made it special was obviously his first ballot, right? Because everybody, I look at the list of the semifinalist list, not even the finalists, just the semifinalists when it's down to 25 or something like that. You look at the names on that list, And
Steve Smith being one of them.
Yeah. Smitty. You know, these are guys that I watched playing and that I admired how they played and how they were professionals. So for me to be on the ballot my first time and for them to skip me ahead of all of these guys was something that I was in denial a little bit about it. Like it's unbelievable. But you know, it doesn't matter to me whether it's first ballot, second, third, fourth. Whenever you are accepted into or get selected to be a part of something like the Pro Football Hall of Fame, it's like the highest that you can go in football. Personal, it's the highest personal award that you can go. So to be selected for that is something that's still hard to like wrap your mind around and put into words because it's that special. But there's a lot of people, a lot of teammates, a lot of coaches, a lot of support staff. It's so many people that help you get to these places. And I'm actually going down I'm already starting the list of people that need to be invited, people that I need to thank. And it's just, I mean, it's a lot.
We'll be back right after this. Welcome back. Just two more things, Pep. One is I wanted to just say personally, I've always admired you as a person, deep thinker. And one of the things I thought that you did that you handled a sticky situation well once in 2012 when UNC accidentally released your academic transcript publicly, which obviously is a major problem and violation. But also, I think you also soon gave them like a very large donation for some sort of scholarship too. Just tell me how you kind of, what that was like having that out there for everyone. I don't think anyone would love that about, to see that on just out in the world, and then why you ended up with doing that scholarship so quickly afterwards.
That situation was, I don't know the details of how it got out, and at one point I knew, but it's been so long ago that the details get a little fuzzy on how it got released and stuff like that. And it's just one of those things where there's more to it than what's out there in the media and stuff like that. There's more to the situation. But I felt like the donation part of it, I felt like that was a moment for me to flip it. I wanted to flip it because I felt like I could help somebody else out. I didn't want it to be on me. And I wanted to help the next generation of kids that came through. So that's why I gave the donation. It wasn't anything that I was trying to hide or anything like that. To be honest with you, the transcript came out and it was an incomplete transcript because that was the time that I had left school, right? So a lot of the classes and stuff on there was classes that I left. I was going into the draft that semester, right? I knew I was going to the draft. Basically, I stopped going to the classes. I didn't finish the semester out. So that's why some of the things on there are incomplete or whatever they are. So it's kind of like it looks worse than what it really is. I didn't take offense to it because one, I didn't really care that much that it was out. I'm the type of person that I don't really put a lot of emphasis on things that I can't control. I couldn't control that. It's happened. So what? I move forward, find a solution to it. And my solution was to go and make a donation to the Light on the Hill Society Scholarship for somebody else could come through and take advantage and take advantage of the scholarship. That was it. I was just trying to be helpful in the situation.
That's a graceful response. Last thing, and this is more as a father, but I was speaking with our mutual friend Alonzo Mourning and asked him the same question for his episode of Sports Legends of the Carolinas. and we ended with this. As you think about your own life and particularly what you're wanting to leave, to your children or tell your children a lot, I guess, what do Julius Peppers do you think are the most important things in life and the most important values in life?
So family first and foremost, family. I always tell them that they got to look out for each other, always. One day, hopefully a long time from now, mom and dad is not going to be here with you forever. So we want to teach them the values of respect, integrity, keeping your word, and looking out for one another, because that's all you really have. That's all you really have. That and those are the people that you can count on. So I emphasize that heavy to them. Look out for your brother, look out for your sister. You guys got to take care of each other, all right? Because there's not a lot of people out there that you're going to be able to lean on, but you guys going to always have each other. And having respect for yourself, respect for others, and being a person of your word. If you tell somebody something, do it. If you're gonna, whatever it is, just maintain a certain type of integrity in whatever you do. Those are the main things we tell them, and just love on each other, and look out for each other.
Well put. That's Julius Peppers. I'm Scott Fowler. Thanks for joining us again on Sports Legends of the Carolinas.
Thank you.
Thanks so much for listening to Sports Legends of the Carolinas, a production of the Charlotte Observer. This show is produced by Lume Ali Sally, Jeff Seiner, and Cotta Stevens. The sports editor of the Charlotte Observer is Lydia Craver. The executive editor is Raina Cash. If you know a sports fan, we've got a great gift idea for you. We've compiled the first 2 seasons of the Sports Legends interviews into a coffee table book, which includes more than 100 rare photos. Among the 33 legends in the book are Steph Curry, Roy Williams, Mike Krzyzewski, Dale Earnhardt Jr., Steve Spurrier, Jake Delhomme, and Dawn Staley. The first printing sold out quickly, but the book is back in stock now, and you can order a copy at sportslegendsbook.com. For lots more sports content, please visit charlotteobserver.com and consider a digital subscription. You can connect with me, Scott Fowler, by email at sfowler@charlotteobserver.com. Please subscribe, rate, and review the Sports Legends of the Carolinas podcast. Thanks for spending some time with us, and we'll see you next time.